It was one of those quiet nights that feel normal on the surface, but something underneath doesn't sit right. The TV was on, playing something neither of us was really watching. I was curled up on one side of the couch, my legs tucked under me, scrolling mindlessly through my phone. He was sitting beside me, but not really with me. His attention kept drifting back to his own screen. That had become normal lately. We were together, but not connected. There was a time when nights like this felt warm, comfortable. Even silence used to feel like something we shared. Now, it just felt like space, unspoken space. I glanced at him for a moment. His face was calm, but distant. His thumb moved quickly across his screen like he was in the middle of something important. Something that mattered more than the moment we were in. I looked back at my phone, tried to ignore it, tried not to think too much. But that feeling had been growing for weeks now. That quiet, uncomfortable feeling that something was changing, and I wasn't part of it anymore. He used to talk to me about everything, small things, work stress, random thoughts, even silly things that didn't matter. Now, even asking, "How was your day?" felt like I was pulling words out of him. "Fine," he'd say. "Always fine." And somehow, that word started to feel heavier than any long explanation ever could. That's when his phone buzzed. The sound was soft, but I noticed the way he reacted to it immediately. He picked it up quickly, too quickly. His eyes scanned the screen, and for a split second, something changed in his expression. It was subtle. Most people wouldn't notice it, but I did. Because I had been watching him more closely than he realized. He stood up almost instantly. "I'll be right back," he said, already walking toward the kitchen. I nodded without saying anything, but something about it didn't feel right. It wasn't just the message, it was the urgency. The way he didn't even wait. The way he needed distance to read it. I tried to shake the feeling off, told myself I was overthinking. But deep down, I already knew I wasn't. A few seconds passed, then my phone buzzed. I frowned slightly. That was unexpected. When I looked down and saw his name on my screen, my heart skipped for a moment. He was in the kitchen. Why would he text me? For a second, I thought maybe he was sending me something normal, a link, a joke, something random. But something in my chest tightened anyway. I opened the message, and everything went still. "She understands me better than you ever did." I stared at the screen. The words didn't register at first, like my brain needed a second to catch up with what I had just read. Then I read it again, slower this time, every word hitting harder than before. "She understands me better than you ever did." It wasn't long, it wasn't complicated, but it said everything. I felt something drop inside my chest, not sharply, not painfully, just quietly, like something settling into place. I lifted my eyes toward the kitchen. He was still there. I could hear faint movement, like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't just sent a message that changed everything. I looked back at my phone. There was no follow-up, no correction, no, "Sorry, wrong person." Just silence. And somehow, that silence said more than anything else could. It wasn't meant for me. That much was obvious. But that didn't make it better. If anything, it made it worse. Because mistakes don't create truth, they reveal it. And in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't new. This wasn't sudden. This was something that had been building quietly, while I kept trying to hold on to what we used to have. Suddenly, all those small moments started lining up. The late nights. The way he smiled at his phone but not at me. The conversations that ended too quickly. The distance that kept growing, even when we were sitting right next to each other. I had seen it. I had felt it. I just didn't want to believe it meant this. I leaned back slightly, still holding my phone in my hand, waiting. Maybe for another message, maybe for an explanation. But nothing came. Just the quiet hum of the TV and the faint sounds from the kitchen. I expected anger. I expected tears. I expected my chest to tighten, my thoughts to spiral, my emotions to take over. But instead, I felt calm. Strangely calm. Like something inside me had already accepted what this meant. Not fully, but enough. Enough to stop pretending. Enough to stop ignoring what was right in front of me. I took a slow breath, looked at the message one more time, and then I did something I didn't expect. I started typing. My fingers hovered over the screen for a moment. What do you even say to something like that? What question do you ask? What explanation do you demand? I typed something, then stopped, read it, deleted it. It felt pointless, because deep down, I already knew the answer to every question I could ask. I tried again. This time, I didn't overthink it. I didn't let emotions take over. I just wrote what felt clear, simple, final. I read it once, took a breath, and pressed send. For a second, everything felt completely still, like the room itself was waiting. Then from the kitchen, I heard movement, faster this time, his footsteps, coming back. And I knew. He had read it. His footsteps were faster this time, not casual, not normal, rushed. I didn't look up immediately. I didn't need to. I already knew what was about to happen. The moment you send something that carries truth, people feel it instantly, even before they understand it. My phone buzzed in my hand. I didn't open it right away. I let it sit there for a second. Let him stand in the room. Let the silence stretch. Then I finally looked down. What do you mean? I read it once, calmly, then locked my phone again. I could feel his eyes on me now, waiting, confused, maybe even a little panicked. What did you mean by that? He asked, his voice trying to sound normal, but missing something. Control. I slowly lifted my gaze and looked at him, really looked at him. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't searching for answers in his face. I wasn't trying to read between his expressions. I wasn't hoping for reassurance. I was just seeing him clearly. And somehow, that made everything easier. My phone buzzed again. That message wasn't for you. Of course it wasn't. That was the part he thought would fix everything. That it was a mistake, an accident, something that didn't count because I wasn't supposed to see it. But truth doesn't lose meaning just because it was revealed by accident. If anything, it becomes more real. I let out a slow breath and placed my phone on the table beside me. Still, I didn't say anything. And that silence? It started to affect him. I can explain, he added quickly. I tilted my head slightly. Explain what? The words? Or the meaning behind them? Because those are two very different things. Another buzz. You're overreacting. That word again. Overreacting. It's strange how easily people use it. Like it has the power to erase what just happened. Like it can shrink something real into something small. But this time, it didn't work. Because for the first time, I wasn't reacting. I was understanding. And there's a difference. A big one. I stood up slowly, not in anger, not dramatically, just calmly. He stepped a little closer, like he was trying to close the distance between us. But something had already changed. Not physically, but emotionally. And that kind of distance isn't easy to fix. Say something, he said. There was frustration in his voice now. Not guilt, not regret. Frustration. Like my silence was making things harder for him. I looked at him for a moment, then finally spoke. She understands you better than I ever did? My voice was calm, steady. No anger, no shaking. Just a simple question. He hesitated, just for a second, but that second was enough. That's not what I meant, he said quickly. I nodded slightly. Of course it wasn't what he meant, but it was exactly what he said. And sometimes, what we say in moments of comfort reveals more than what we say when we're careful. I didn't mean it like that, he added. I almost asked him, then how did you mean it? But I didn't, because I already knew, and asking wouldn't change anything. It would just give him a chance to reshape the truth into something easier to accept. Another silence filled the room, but this one felt different, heavier, more final. I was just talking, he said. Just talking. Like those words didn't carry weight, like they didn't come from somewhere real. I picked up my phone again and unlocked it, opened the message, read it one more time, slowly, then looked back at him. You didn't send that by mistake, I said quietly. He frowned. I did. I sent it to the wrong person. I shook my head slightly. No, I said. You sent it to the right person. He looked confused, and for a moment, I could see it. That moment where someone realizes the situation isn't going the way they expected. I just wasn't supposed to see it. That's when the room went completely silent. No TV, no movement. Just that moment, hanging between us. And I could see it in his face now. That shift, that realization. That this wasn't something he could talk his way out of. Because I wasn't asking questions. I wasn't giving him space to explain. I wasn't trying to fix it. I had already accepted it. And that's what made it different. My phone buzzed again. We can talk about this. I didn't even look at it this time, because there was nothing left to talk about. Not really.